Good evening, everyone. Wow, that's really hot. Can I turn this down a little bit? Or that's where you want it? That's what it is. That's what it is. Good evening. We're going to go ahead and call to order the June 26, 2025 Zoning Board of Appeals meeting for the City of South Fulton. Staff, you want to do a roll call?
Commissioner Johnson. Commissioner Dr. Blackshear.
Present.
Commissioner Patterson. Commissioner Mathis.
Here.
Commissioner O'Donnell.
Here.
Commissioner Piles Faraday.
Here.
Commissioner Jerome. And Commissioner Evans.
Do we have a quorum?
We have a quorum.
Okay, we have a quorum, so let's go ahead and begin. We'll begin with the approval of last meeting's minutes. Anyone want to make remarks concerning those minutes or any corrections?
I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes as written.
It's been properly moved and second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none, the meetings from last month's meeting or the meeting prior are accepted. All right, staff, do you have anything before we go into our first case?
No, we don't.
All right, so we're gonna move into our first case, which is V 25-003 at 5420 Camp Trail Road. Is there anyone here to speak on V 25-003, either in favor or opposed?
I didn't fill out a card. The engineer's on his way. I think he's parking right now to do the presentation. So, don't know how you want to handle that.
Okay. If it's not an issue with anyone on the board here and no issue with the staff, do you want to redirect and move that? Okay. So we're going to move ahead to V 25-004. And again, same thing. Anybody here in favor of that or opposed, please make your presence known and be ready to speak. You're going to have 10 minutes of uninterrupted time. My understanding is that you can break that up if you need to. Staff will keep track of your allotted time.
Understood.
Please begin by stating your name. If you're a City of South Fulton resident, state your address and then go into your presentation.
Chairman Mathis, if I could for 1 second.
Yes.
Is this are you the applicant?
I am.
Okay. Can I do my report first and then he can speak?
Please do.
All right. I'm gonna just do a brief overview.
Sure.
all right?
Yeah, go for it.
All right, so V25-004, the address is 3257, 3660, 3264, 3268, and 3272 Lyons Ruby Lane. The applicant seeks a variance for properties located at the aforementioned addresses to reduce the side setbacks from 25 feet to 17 feet, and this is from section 403.3, table 4.1. Staff is recommending a denial.
Okay, and give me 1 second, sir, because actually I'm out of order here. Having heard the staff's introduction, does anyone on the board have any questions? If not, I'll take a motion to open up public comment.
I'll make a motion to open up public comments.
It's been properly moved in second. You have the floor, sir.
Thank you, sir. I'm Colin Steinberger. I am not a resident of the city of South Fulton. Good evening. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, commissioners. Thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight. The purpose of this variance request is straightforward. It's about delivering the types of homes that today's buyers are actively demanding while still preserving the character, spacing, and integrity of this community. This isn't based solely on general market trends. It's something that we're seeing play out in real time with active buyers walking our lots and submitting offers as we speak. To give a very real and current example, we've just received a full price offer on a lot that we have that's part of this variance. The buyer wants to move forward with a home that has a 50-foot wide footprint, but their offer is contingent on being able to add a third car garage that's bolted onto the side. The addition increases the total width to 62 feet. Under the current zoning with 25-foot side setbacks on each side, it's physically impossible to fit the home on a 100-foot wide lot. It would require a 12-foot total reduction in side setbacks, whether that's 6 feet off each side or some other reasonable combination. Without that adjustment, the buyer walks away and the opportunity to serve the demand is lost. This isn't an isolated case. We're seeing it. It's clear and consistent demand for the three different types of homes and options. Master on main homes are a big deal right now. Single level ranch homes, big deal right now. And additional storage and parking through third car side bolt-on garages. When we don't have basements, that tends to be a big deal. Challenge is that each of these products requires a wider footprint. A ranch home that meets buyer expectations in today's market, our buyer, priced in the mid 500s, requires about 60 feet of buildable width. A master on main home typically takes about 55 feet, and a ranch takes about 60 feet. When a buyer wants the third car bolt-on a 50-foot wide, we're adding 12 feet, whether it's 50 feet wide or 60 feet wide, we're adding 12 feet to the side of the house. This is where the constraint becomes very clear. These are all 100-foot wide lots with zoning that requires 25-foot side setbacks on each side. We're giving up half the lot, 50 feet, just to the side setbacks. That leaves only 50 feet of usable width to actually build the home, and that simply doesn't work for the products that buyers are actively asking for. It's also important to note that that this 25-foot setback requirement is a holdover from pre-incorporation Fulton County zoning. While the original intent of the standard was to create larger spacing between homes, it no longer aligns with today's buyer expectations of modern building practices. Our request is to reduce the side setback from 25 feet down to 17 feet per side. Even with that reduction, homes will still maintain 34 feet between themselves. By any modern standard, that is a generous amount of space between neighboring homes and still honors the original intent of the zoning to maintain openness, privacy, and distance between homes. In summary, the market is actively demanding larger homes, particularly ranch plans, master on main, and third car bolt-on for additional storage if we don't have basement options. These homes require wider footprints. The current setback's 100 feet. It eliminates 50% of our buildable width. Our request is modest, a reduction to 17-foot side setbacks, which still results in a 34-foot total separation between homes, far exceeding today's modern neighborhood standards. This is not speculative. We have real-time buyer data, including an active contract contingent on this variance. Thank you for your time. Thank you for the consideration. Really appreciate it. Happy to take questions.
All right, you're gonna have about 5 minutes left. If we suspend your time, is there anyone here that is opposed?
We don't have any cards in opposition.
No cards in opposition, so we'll open up the floor now to the board for any questions.
Yeah, I have a
Well,
question.
hang on one second. Thank you, appreciate it. Do you have anything to add with your last 5 minutes?
No, sir. No,
Okay.
that's it. I'd love to answer questions, but
Okay.
beyond that.
All right, well, at this point, we're gonna take a motion to close public commentary on V25-004.
I make a motion to close the commentary on application V25-004.
I'll second it.
It's been properly moved and second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, public comment is closed. So now we'll entertain questions from the board if you have any of the applicant.
I do. I have a question.
Mr. Johnson, you have the floor.
Mr. Steinberger, when you guys first purchased that property, under the circumstances with the way the setback were, I know everybody was fully aware of that, and probably, did y'all have any anticipation that asking for a variance from the time you guys building those type of homes out there?
To be honest, no, we did not. But once we got started out there, the request for these options and these type homes that we have in our lineup, became, it was coming up more and more often. And so, I mean, if you go out there, the large majority of what's being built out there has a third car side bolt on. We just have, outside of these 5 lots,
Right,
the other 20 are quite big.
right.
And so we don't struggle with them, so.
So that was gonna be my next question. The neighbors over there, how they feel about that? The ones that had to stick to that 75 feet?
The 25 on their
Right.
side. I mean, I don't think that they have any kind of a problem with it. I honestly haven't taken a vote or anything,
Right.
I'm not trying to be elusive with it, but I mean, in my remarks, I stated that 34 feet is a lot. And
Yes, sir.
It is, and I don't know that anybody there would even really recognize, I don't know that anybody really knows that they have a 25-foot side setback. And that's not because we aren't communicating it, it just isn't something that typically comes up in the sales cycle when we're working with potential home buyers.
Yes. See, the reason I'm asking is because if any neighbor wanted to oppose it or say something about it, I actually been out there today, and I don't know whose fault it may be, but that variance sign that sits out there, it talks about this meeting right now, and it has May 21st date on it for this meeting with a piece of tape over it. So if one of the neighbors wanted to was walking their dog and went up in that particular area where you guys were building, they probably would have tried to come to this meeting 4 days ago. They wouldn't have had a chance to come in here and say that negative about a home being closer to them opposed to the extra.
Yes, sir. I understand that concern. Frankly, we don't have any control over the dates that are put on these signs. And the sign has been posted for a very long time. We actually got tabled, I don't know if we got tabled or just the date pushed last month. We were supposed to be here last month.
I know.
So I don't, again, not to be elusive towards, and we left it out there. I honestly didn't even know that anybody came out to change the date. This is news to me.
Yeah, it's May 21st, 2025.
Okay.
If any neighbor were walking.
Oh, okay, so that would have been last month. That was our original posted date. Okay.
Right.
That makes sense.
Yeah, and one other question, I noticed that staff recommended denial, correct, Matt?
Correct.
Can I add that there are no neighbors currently that would be, the lots that are being affected are all vacant at this point. So each one of the ones that we're talking about have no neighbors yet that it would be affecting.
Yeah, except for this house here, yeah, it will be close to that, that's 72, that's 36, 72, whatever that next house.
Yes, sir. And I'd be happy to pull the site plan and see how far, because that house could be 35, 40, excuse me,
Yeah.
55, 60 feet, oh, no, 25-foot setback. It could be 35, 40 feet from the side,
Right.
from the sideline as it is.
Yeah, I agree with you, it's 34 feet is.
It's a lot.
Is wide, I build too, so I know it's
Okay,
plenty
well,
of
that's
space.
nice.
But the thing, what would really concern me, if this neighbor right here, who were closest to y'all activities, had a problem with it and they wanted to voice their concern, and they could. That's my only deal. And I would like to know, why did staff recommend denial? Did they give a particular reason? Because I didn't see it.
So we, in our zoning ordinance, there's criteria that we go by for hardship criteria, is section 808.09. And the applicant's request for a larger home is not a
Go on the record with it.
criteria that we use in order to determine if the application is worthy of a variance or not. We have criteria that states if the lot is oddly shaped, if there's some special condition that requires relief to be granted, but simply stating that the applicant would like larger size homes is not one of those criteria. So that's why we recommended a denial. There's no hardship.
Okay, so Okay, no particular reason, just other than the lot. They're not odd shaped and this, he could achieve what he need to achieve.
Correct. There's about 7 criteria that we go by, and the desire to build a larger home is not one of those 7 criteria.
Yeah.
I do have one question. It's a brief question. I think I'm safely assuming that there's an HOA in this community.
Yes, ma'am.
Have you all met with them?
Of course, we're actually the declarant.
Okay,
Yes, ma'am. And so we control the HOA as of right now. We will turn it over to the subdivision towards the end, once we get closer to selling all the way out. We'll assign board members, et cetera.
understood. Okay, thank you.
Mr. O'Donnell?
Yes, sir. Are you the original developer?
No, sir.
So you acquired this development after the fact, or the
You got it.
lots?
You got it. Yes, sir.
Do you have an example or a copy of the plat map?
Unfortunately, not with me, but I can provide it for you for sure.
Do you have any photos of the homes that are currently in there?
Unfortunately,
documentation for that?
no, sir, I don't.
Do you have any documentation of what you want to build?
I have plenty that I can provide. Yes, sir. I don't have anything here with me today. No, sir.
Okay. I just want to raise similar concerns to our colleague at the end regarding the notice. At the conclusion of this, I would like to make a motion that we defer this 1 month pending proper notification and signage at the particular location to give the opportunity for the applicant to meet with the current owners in there, and also the opportunity for current owners to voice their concerns under the proper form.
Noted. Commissioner Faraday?
Were you aware of the criteria that needed to be followed as stated by the criteria that he just mentioned?
We're talking about for hardship and
Yes.
and whatnot. Yes, ma'am. Yeah, we read all through it.
Okay, were you able to answer any of those? I'm with him on the deferral, so I just wanted to make sure that if you can answer any of those questions and.
Well, I think that, you know, the definition that the city has in its Muni Code, or wherever this is coming from, I'm assuming from the Muni Code, it does not take into account larger homes. But, you know, we look at this as market-driven data that this is what the people of city of South Fulton are wanting. I mean, we're getting this has been a very popular spot, which is great in today's marketplace. We're excited about that. But so no, I don't have specifically.
I want to be consistent with that criteria.
Understood. Yes, ma'am. That's fair.
Commissioner Jerome, you have anything?
Yes, quick question. So if you are not able to build what you propose on this lot, do you have any other considerations for the space? And then is there anything that you would like us to consider if you're not able to build what you're proposing on this space?
So thank you for that. The lots are buildable. This isn't a question of whether or not we can build houses on them. This is strictly a question of, you know, these are very large side setbacks. I mean, and we're eating up just boatloads of space that it's just impeding our ability to provide what people are asking for. That's strictly what this is about. And so, you know, can I still build homes on those home sites? I can. You know, I think that we're restricting those that want to be in there, because I am starting to run out of opportunities there. These lots have been on hold for now. I think we started this process back in March or something. So they've been on hold for a very long time, and we are truly running out of opportunities. And so for anybody that is wanting some of these, the options and the house styles that I mentioned, you know, we're kind of stuck, and there's not a lot of more options in the subdivision for them. So I know I probably didn't answer your question 100%, but I'm doing my best with it, so,
Thank you.
yes, ma'am.
Dr. Blackshear?
What's the price point of the homes that you're building?
We're mid 500s to mid 600s, depending on whether they're basements or not. But yeah, we're mid 500s to 600s, and people are optioning up pretty big as well.
Okay.
So they're nice homes. I wish that I had some designs that I could show you, but we're anywhere from 3,000 to 3,700 square feet. They're anything. We're running brick on the front and some brick water table along the side and rear, depending on options and things of that nature. So they're very nice homes.
And do you have an age demographic of your buyers that you're looking at?
These are second time, third time move up. So
Okay.
these are anything from, I would say, mid to late 30s into
Gotcha.
mid 50s.
Uh-huh. Okay. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Johnson?
Yeah, Mr. Steinberg, I just want to tell you, I'm very familiar with that area. And I'm personally thankful that somebody's building over there, because we had a tire problem over there for a long time, it's just a mess. So I'm not against what you're saying, but what the colleague, Mr. O'Donnell, saying deferral, I'm really not against it. That's just, if the neighbors are with it and they don't have an issue with their giving up 8 feet, work for space, it being in between somebody else, I'm not against it. So I just wanted to tell you that.
Thank you. Can I throw a proposal out there? And this is more for the sake of time.
Yes, sir.
If we dropped the one lot that is next to a current home, and all we're now talking about are literal vacant lots. There's nothing in between them. It's only my vacant lots. Could we potentially drop that one parcel out of this zoning, or out of this request, this variance request?
Well, my understanding is you would probably have to make another application with staff to change that. I'm not sure.
No, he wouldn't. If he was adding a lot, there it'd be different, but if he's taking one away, it's no problem.
Okay, all right, well, I guess we'll let the board consider that. Are there any more questions?
And I'm sorry to interrupt. The only reason this has been a very
Yeah,
long.
make your case, make your
Yeah,
case.
it's been a very long process, and I know it's another 30 days to you guys. It's like nothing, but it's another 30 days, and we've already been pushed back. And so this is no complaining, nothing like that. It's just anything that we can do to actually kind of just settle this thing out. It would be great.
Question, right.
I got you.
One question, with that, lot, that if you were to remove that lot, the land in between that, would that be maintained?
No. So we would still build on the house. We would just we would no longer request the reduction in side setback on
Okay.
that particular
Duly
lot.
noted. Okay.
Because of the one house that I have,
Right.
the homeowner didn't have the opportunity to come and speak.
Understood. And I only ask that question because I've seen subdivisions where that has happened, where you have these houses, but then all of a sudden you have these lots that's just sitting there. They're not maintained,
Yeah.
it looks horrible, so that was my
Well,
question. I didn't
and-
wanna make that assumption.
And I will say, this is pat us on the back a little bit. We have,
Yes.
with this subdivision we picked up actually from another builder, not from the developer, from
Right.
another, this subdivision has been there forever, since
Yeah.
I think 2007, maybe 2006, final plat. We have, some other builder came in there, and their septic tank lot's a little complicated. You really gotta be careful with the
Right.
soils, and somebody came in there and mass graded and really did a number on these lots. And we have bent over backwards trying to repair these lots and get them into a buildable state so that we could continue to do exactly what we're doing.
Gotcha.
We're finally at the end on some of it, and so, I mean, we really truly are. This is not an effort to do anything except for good, So that's my last little ditch effort there, guys. So thank you.
Mr. O'Donnell, you have one more question?
Yeah, I just want to clarify. Your only hardship here is that you can't build a house because the lot is too small for the house that you want to build. Is that correct?
Well, my contention is that
But what's your hardship?
I understand that. Based on the Muni Code, it's hard to prove any of those items. I mean, there's not anything that says if you can't, if we have a 50-foot side setbacks and a 50-foot buildable space, and you want to build a 60-foot house, that you have a hardship. I understand that. Again, my contention is, this is a very old zoning. Is this zoning still out there? 25-foot side setbacks?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, it's currently still an active zoning district.
I'm sorry?
It's currently still an active zoning district.
Okay. I thought it stopped with Fulton. I thought it was a carryover from Fulton County. Anyways, it's not very common outside of when you get into much larger agriculture type, or some of the zonings that I'm familiar with, RA 200, where you got 200-foot road frontage, and then your side setbacks get kind of large. It's a very big. You've got a builder down here. I think he'd attest to that. So.
Thank you.
Any more questions? Dr. Blackshear?
And if you were granted that extra lot, there will be no disturbance to the homeowner while you're building?
No, ma'am. I mean, no different than any other. I mean, nails pop when we start framing houses, and we get concrete trucks that make loud noises. But outside of the outside of the
step into your lane a little bit.
Yes, ma'am. That's okay. Outside of the typical construction noise that happens for 90, 120 days.
Yeah, no, not
But-
necessarily the noise per se, but more so with their structure.
No, ma'am. Nothing.
Okay,
Mm-mm.
so
No,
that-
we'd be 50 feet away from them.
Okay.
The side of the house would be 50 feet from the side of their house at minimum. Again, I don't know exactly how far that house is off the setback, but it could be
Right.
15 feet off the setback, which would just be 65 feet now. I mean, it's a long way.
Okay.
Yeah, see, no. We build in much tighter quarters.
Okay. Cool.
Sure.
Thank you.
Yes,
Ms. Faraday, did you have something else? All right, if there are no more questions, we will entertain a motion from the board.
I'd like to make a motion to approve what he's trying to do for the setback.
Make some clarity. Make some clarity to it for me, Mr. Johnson.
Yes, sir. I'd like to make a motion that one lot that's next to an existing home be excluded from the setback, the 8-foot relief he's attempting to get. I'm sure it'll probably come back up later once the homeowner get involved, but as of now, I personally would make a motion that you able to do the setback and get the 8-foot relief that you're trying to get.
Point of clarification. Could the applicant identify the address in question that he wants to omit from the application?
Yes, that's what I was trying to
74.
get to.
It's 36, I can tell you.
I don't know which one it is. I can figure it out.
If they're in order, it should be their first parcel.
I don't know which order it's in. "30 seconds. I'm almost there. All right.
It's gonna be 3276 is whatever next to that one, which would be 3272, I think.
It's
Yeah,
lot number 20.
it's 3272,
You got it. 3272.
yeah. Parcel number if you need that, okay.
Yeah, restate your motion for us.
Okay. I'd like to make a motion that Mr. Steinberg and his group are allowed to get the relief he's asking for each of those lots, with the exception of 3272 Lions Ruby Lane.
I second that.
The motion has been properly made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Nay.
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 I think the nays have it, and so the motion is defeated. Is there another motion anyone wants to make?
I'd like to make a motion that we deny the approval of case V 25-005, 37, pardon me, V 25-004.
005, 004.
V25-004. Based upon the grounds that there is no hardship.
It's been properly motioned. Is there a second? The motion dies for no second. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Second.
It's been properly moved in second. All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed, say nay.
Nay.
Okay, we're gonna have to take a hand count here, staff. So I'm gonna do this again.
I like the deferral, so do I need to make a motion?
Well, let's have a vote on this motion first. All right, so all in favor of Mr. O'Connell's motion to deny, please raise your hand. Can staff do a hand count for us and note the commissioner?
That would be 2.
So there's 2. All opposed to the motion, to deny, please raise your hand. There are 3 opposed, so the motion dies. Is there another motion from the board?
I make a motion that we defer based on going back to the criteria of the hardship. Like he said, it has to, I want to be consistent with what the staff has for the criteria. So I want you to go through the criteria and be able to answer those questions.
Point of clarification. So the applicant doesn't actually answer those questions. We just evaluate his application based on that criteria. So the applicant wouldn't have to go through anything. It's on us to do that evaluation.
Okay, so it's denied.
I'll make a motion to defer case V25-004 based upon the current published notice, so we can talk for it next month.
Second.
It's been properly moved in second to defer this case until our next meeting. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed, nay?
I-
Okay, another hand count is warranted.
What?
All in favor, please raise your hand.
I have a question. I got a question.
So there are 2 in favor of the motion to defer. All opposed to the motion to defer to the next meeting, please raise your hand.
I'm sorry, would you repeat that?
We have a motion on the floor to defer this case until our next meeting, next month or thereafter, to have further discussion, and it's been seconded. There are 2 in favor. Raise your hand if you're opposed.
I oppose.
Raise your hand, please. Okay, so we have 3 opposed, so that motion dies. All right, so let's kind of regroup here. Dr. Blackshear, what do you want to add?
Here's my thing, okay. This is, a property that's out here. Okay, yeah, we haven't seen the homes, we haven't seen the subdivision. However, it's been sitting for over a decade, well over a decade. And if he has buyers who are interested in purchasing the homes, he's willing to give up a lot. And based on the information he's given, continue building luxurious homes for the new people who want to purchase these homes. What's the big issue as far as like going ahead and moving forward with this? If it will not disturb, possibly not disturb at all, the neighbor that will be next door. Because how long has that home been there? Who purchased the house that's there now? Did they purchase that home when it was originally, when the subdivision was originally built? Or is this something new? Because things change well over a decade, so I'm just asking, would this be a huge issue with going ahead and moving forward if he's willing to give up the lot that would be too close to that home? Unless someone lives in that subdivision directly, unless there's somebody that lives in here that lives in that subdivision.
Mr. Johnson, you want to add something? I'll be with you.
Yeah, I do want to add something. You know, I just happen to know that particular street. I don't know, man, y'all, some of y'all guys should remember, you know, some guys got caught dumping tires over there. It was a bad deal over there for a long time. It was horrible. I mean, this before, and like Mr. Steinberg was saying, Berger was saying earlier, as far as another developer, it was another developer there. All the underground sewer and storm was already there, and it's just like it just went back to the wayside again. I applaud the guys for coming in there. 500. I literally went through the neighborhood on my way here. $500,000 homes. That's kind of it's fitting for the neighborhood, and I think all of us on the board should really consider that, because if you ride through the neighborhood, it's a gap in between those homes. The only concern I brought up was about the one that's there now. It's a nice home there too. It's probably $450,000 house easily, but if he's willing, not giving up the life, as the doctor was saying, he's just willing to not ask for, not ask. Well, he's gonna put a home there. He just ain't gonna put a home there with this.
With the reduction.
He's asking for. Yeah.
Yes,
So,
ma'am.
which is, I just think we should really consider that, let him move forward, because it ain't hurting anyone. It's not hurting anyone.
No, Ms. Faraday?
My only concern, I'm listening. My only concern is I'm just really big on consistency. I think I've been saying that the whole time, is that consistency is very important to me. If we do it for you, we have to do it for somebody else. So the staff denied for a particular reason. They have a criteria that they set that they have to abide by. So, clear? Am I correct?
Yes.
So they set those in place for a reason. So again, if we do it for you, we have to do it for somebody else. That's my only thing. I understand what you guys are saying.
Mr. O'Donnell?
Yeah, District 4, which is the area I represent, is littered with property that has been zoned for CUP, with setbacks and properties and lots and so forth. If we make an exemption for these guys, what are we gonna do when all these other developments come asking because a builder decided to buy out what was remaining of a subdivision and then can't put the home on there that he wants to build or the one that he can sell? He does have an option, since these lots are all conjoining, if I understand correctly. You could probably have them replatted so that they're larger, so that perhaps you can build the home that you want to build. Unfortunately, he bought a lot that he can't sell the home that he can build. That's not the role of our board to determine whether or not it's the right sale for them as a business. Our role is to determine whether or not they have a hardship with a particular piece of land that they can't overcome, whether it be Mother Nature or whatever it may be, not because he bought a piece of land that's too small for the house that he's able to sell. And not only are we changing one lot, but we're changing all of them. That's it.
Can I clarify? It's
Hold on
it's
one
not
second.
all of them.
Hang on 1 second. We got to let the board.
Yeah. So, just all due respect, Mr. O'Donnell, like I said, I've been on that street, and those lots, they actually lead back to the wood. So it's not like, I don't see a hardship with it. I mean, he's not claiming a hardship, because there is not a hardship. It just means he's building a smaller home. But these are not spec home he's building either. These are, if I heard him correctly, he said that he has a buyer, a contract in place where someone is wanting to move in that particular neighborhood, wanting that extra space to add a garage there for a car. So, you know, and I agree, and that's why we're in place. So in the future, if someone want to come, and I live in District 4 too, I'm a major landowner in District 4. I agree with you. I don't want to jam it, but that's what we're here for. So if someone come and try to build something that we're not in agreement with, we can stop it. We ain't setting precedent now. We're here in this case, and we make an exception to it. These are the rules, and that's why we're here. we can deviate from those rules if we, that's why we're here. We don't have to follow that to the letter. So I support what you're doing.
Commissioner Jerome?
Yes, I have two questions. The first one is just to clarify that the applicant did not request a variance based on any type of hardship. Is that correct?
The applicant made a request to reduce the side setbacks, not necessarily a hardship, but the variance process is for hardships as stated in the zoning ordinance.
Okay. So he did not request a variance based on hardship, but in order to receive what he's asking for, the variance would have to be based on a hardship. Is that correct?
In order to get a recommendation of approval, he would have to meet the hardship criteria as outlined in the zoning ordinance.
Okay. So is it okay if I ask a few more questions?
Sure.
Okay. I have a question about hardship criteria G that says relief, if granted, would be in harmony with or could be made to be in harmony with the general purpose and intent of the zoning ordinance. And if there's any feedback regarding his case and why it may not or did not fit that criteria. And then I have a question about another one of the hardships listed.
Could I take your first question and you can ask your second one?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I mean, state your second question while I think about the answer to the
I'm
first
sorry.
one.
Yeah, so the other criteria that I was looking at is that the special conditions and circumstances do not result from the actions of the appellant. Why it wouldn't meet that criteria, the circumstances.
You're referring to criteria B?
Criteria D as in David.
D as in David.
And then criteria G.
So I can say for criteria D, the special conditions and circumstances did arise from the actions of the applicant because he's seeking to reduce what's already the standard for the area. So it's not like the lots were irregularly shaped. They acquired the property knowing what the setbacks were. So there's no special circumstance or conditions because the applicant is creating his own hardship, basically. Does that make sense?
My interpretation was that the hardship or condition was that there is a market demand that he's not able to meet because of the current zoning.
Yes, that may be, but that's not necessarily how it falls within our current criteria for the zoning ordinance. We don't consider market conditions.
Thank you. And then for G, please.
Can you speak up a little bit, Mr. Jerome?
Yes, I was just asking for the explanation for G as well, please. Whenever you're ready.
I would say that the purpose of the AG1 lots are for zoning districts that allows for greater setbacks. If granted, I think it was mentioned earlier, if granted, we would have to do this for all other applicants. So I don't think it would be in harmony with the general intent or purpose of the zoning ordinance because the purpose of the zoning ordinance was to create those lots in AG1 with those certain setbacks.
Thank you.
All right, are there any more questions from the board? Seeing no questions, we will entertain a motion.
I'd like to make a motion to grant the relief he's asking for those lots, with the exception of 3272, so they can move forward building.
Motion has been made. Do we have a
I
second?
second that.
It's been properly moved and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay.
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 Okay, so we've got 3 nays and 2 ayes. The motion is defeated. Is there another motion?
I would like to reintroduce the motion to defer this case to our next meeting so that we can have further discussion.
Point of clarification. What do you want to happen between now and the next meeting that's not currently being discussed now? What new information are you looking for? And to include that in the motion. Include.
Okay, so I propose a motion to defer this case V25004 to our next meeting to delve deeper into the hardship criteria.
There's a motion on the floor. Is there a second? Motion dies for lack of a second. Does anyone have another motion to make? We need a motion that's gonna resolve this case or, we're gonna be here. The chair is not allowed to make a motion, so.
I'll go ahead and make a motion to case V25-004, for deferment to next month. If you can reach out to the other homeowner and let's, see what they have to say. And, I think that would help us come to a better resolution.
Okay, there's a motion on the floor. Is there a second? Okay, that motion dies for lack of a second as well.
I'll make my motion
Go ahead, Mr. O'Donnell.
to deny case V24-004.
V25-004. Is there a second?
Second.
Then properly moved and second to deny V25-004. All in favor say aye.
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 All opposed, nay.
Nay.
It sounded like the ayes have it, but for clarity on this issue, because we went back and forth, I want the staff to take a hand count. So all in favor of this motion to deny, please raise your hand. 1, 2, 3. All opposed? 1, 2. The motion passes. V25-004 is denied. All right. Before we move on into the next case, I'm going to take a little privilege here. I've been on this board since the original board, 8 years since this city was put together. And I dreaded becoming the chairman because the chairman can't weigh in except, appropriately weigh in except in ties. But I don't have that reservation anymore because you guys are sharp, man. This is a great board. So anyway, having said that, we're going to circle back to our original first case, which is V25-003, 5420 Camp Trail Road. The staff want to do your presentation on that?
Absolutely. V25-003. The address is 5420 Camp Trail Road. The applicant is requesting a variance from section 14-0-7007, the buffer and setback requirements to reduce the 75 undisturbed natural vegetative buffer, and to section 14-17007 to encroach into the 25-foot non-impervious buffer. This is in City Council District 3. Staff is recommending approval.
You mean Council District 4?
Council District 4. Staff is recommending approval.
All right. We're going to now take a motion to open the floor for public comment on V25-003, 5420 Camp Trail Road.
I make a motion to open the floor for public comment for V 25-003 5420 Camp Trail Road.
Second.
It's been properly moved and second. All in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion passes and we are now in public comment. Anyone in favor of V 25-003, please step to the podium, state your name, your address if you're a City of South Fulton resident, and state your case. You'll have 10 minutes in total. The clock is there. You can break that up as you see fit to properly present your case. If there are any audience members here that are opposed, please present yourself and let us know that you're here. Outside of that, identify yourself and go ahead.
Sure. Thank you very much. My name is David Huter. I'm the Director of Ecological Services at United Consulting, representing the applicant. I do not live in the city of South Fulton. As I mentioned, we are consultants. We are located in the Norcross area of the state. The applicant is, well, first of all, thank you for accommodating us. The weather had us a little delayed in getting here, so thank you for accommodating that. The applicant is building a residential community. As part of the development of that residential community, it is necessary to rebuild the dam for a small lake that is within the community. As part of that construction, obviously, in rebuilding a dam, it's difficult to do that work without encroaching into the buffers that are required around the lake and the dam in order to do that work. So we do qualify for a hardship here because, again, you can't do the work without getting into the buffer to repair the dam. So we are just asking for a variance to do that work. We have applied for and obtained a stream buffer variance from the Georgia EPD already. So we do have the variance approval from the EPD for the 25-foot state buffer. We have also applied to the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers for approval to do the work as well. That approval is pending, but we have made that application to the Corps and are just waiting on that review and approval. And I think the information is pretty straightforward. Hopefully, it's a little easier than the last one, but I'm happy to answer any questions. And I don't see that I'm going to need my 10 minutes, even though my wife would probably tell you I could talk about it for 20 minutes.
Understood. Okay, so if you're done,
I'm done.
we will take a motion, entertain a motion to close public comment.
Second.
It's been properly moved and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion passes and public comment is now closed. And we will entertain questions from the board. Mr. O'Donnell, I'm sorry.
So my understanding is this is just strictly to repair the dam? It
That
has
is
nothing to
correct.
do with any of the lots or anything like that?
No, there was some buffer averaging that was done. That was a review at the staff level, did not require variance for that. And so this is specific to the work on the dam. That's correct. It'll repair the emergency outflow, the outflow control structure for the lake, stabilize the stream on the downstream end where the water comes out of the lake. It's, all part of the reconstruction of the dam itself, yes.
Is that why the water's so low right now? Is that what's going on back there?
Yes, yeah, and a lot of the water now, because the outflow structure really isn't functioning at all, and a
Right.
lot of the water is actually going out the emergency spillway, which obviously they're not designed for that purpose. So ultimately, what ends up happening is that erodes, and eventually you end up with no lake because it erodes away, and the water comes out the emergency spillway, and then you have an erosion sediment problem. So,
Thank you.
sure.
Commissioner Jerome?
Hi. My question is, what do you want your setbacks to be reduced to? I may have missed that, and I know that you're requesting a variance to the buffer and the setbacks, but where do you want it to go? Right now, the ordinance is 75 feet for undisturbed natural vegetative buffer, and then 25 feet for the encroachment. Where would you like each of those to be moved?
So ultimately, in order to do the construction, there would be 0 because we have to be able to construct right up and work to, in order to construct the dam, we have to work right up to the edge of the lake. And in order to install the outlet control structure, we have to work right up to the stream in order to get the outlet control structure in. Once the work is completed, the area will be revegetated and it'll be grassed and maintained that way. So this isn't a permanent, you know, it's not like we're going in and paving streets right up to the edge of the water. This is to repair the dam. Once it's done, it'll be grassed and maintained that way in order to be stable and not be an erosion problem.
But so you're eliminating both the buffer and the encroachment?
I'm not sure if I'm following the
So-
question.
Pardon me, basically what they're doing is they're replacing the dam. They're fixing the dam because it's currently broken. But because they're bringing in their equipment, they're gonna be encroaching on the 75-foot setback. So they're just fixing the dam is what they're doing. If I'm correct.
Yes, that's exactly it, yes.
Did that answer your question?
In other words, this is not a permanent thing at all.
Right.
Because they gotta get a zoning in order to, just to bring their equipment in within 75 feet of the water.
The variance is only for the work that you're doing?
That's
and then
correct.
it's gonna be put back together again?
That's correct, yes. It's a temporary disturbance for us to get in there, do the repairs, and then once we're done, it'll all be graded back, grassed, and put back to, you know, relatively natural conditions. I mean, anytime you have a dam, the management of the dam is to keep vegetation, or at least big vegetation, off of the dam. So it will be mowed and maintained with grass-type vegetation, herbaceous vegetation. We're not gonna plant trees and stuff on it, because you can't. You know, Georgia Safe Dams would tell you, that's the first thing to tell you, don't plant trees on the backside of your dam, and otherwise your dam's gonna fail. So it just gets, you know, revegetated with, or grass and herbaceous vegetation and maintained. Is that helpful?
Yes, I
Okay.
wanted to make sure I understood. Thank
Sure.
you so much.
Mr. Johnson?
Yeah, Mr. Hooter, yeah, my question would be, it sounds like y'all doing a great thing over there, but the Corps of Engineers, you say you waiting approval from those guys.
That's correct.
I would hate for us to get in front of them guys. You feel pretty confident they're gonna give you a favorable?
Yes, yes, I don't anticipate any issues, any delays. We have, as part of the overall development,
Yep.
they are going to replace the culvert there at Camp Trail.
Right.
So that's gonna be expanded, and in doing that, there are some wetland impacts there that are gonna occur as part of that expansion of that crossing. So that's part of our application to the Corps. So we put all of this into one application to the Corps. We don't anticipate a denial. Obviously, if you made your approval condition that we have that Corps approval, I think that's totally understandable.
Okay, so that leads to my next question.
Okay.
I noticed the same people own that particular piece of property, that parcel, on the other side of Camp Trail. So what you guys are doing now, this is strictly for repairs and repairs only. That's it.
That's correct.
Cause I'm looking here, it look like it's 49 acres, same people own that, correct?
Right.
So whatever y'all doing on that one particular parcel, it will support that too, I guess, with the.
So, yeah, I mean,
beautification and-
the overall project is a residential community development.
Yeah.
But the work that we're doing that requires the variance that we're here for tonight
Yes.
is specific to the repair of the dam.
Got it. And the reason I'm asking that, just so that, because I got a strong feeling that we're gonna hear from you again, once y'all get on the other side, if something, I mean, I think you're doing a great deal. I hate for us to get in front of the Corps of Engineer, but if you guys feel good about it, I mean, it seems like O'Donnell has already, Commissioner O'Donnell, have you, no. Well, what I'm saying, I'm in favor, I'm not saying that negative about it, is,
So,
Okay.
so you have this drawing in your package.
I think we do.
This is the entire development that's being proposed. This entire development has been evaluated to determine what variances are needed from the city. And this is the only variance for the buffer encroachment that we're asking for this entire development. Is just the only variance we're asking for this entire area of development is for the repair of the dam. Everything else has been adjusted to get lots, to get all the other stuff out of the city buffers, so that we didn't have to come in and try to argue a hardship for something that maybe didn't
Right.
fit, right?
Okay,
Dr. Blackshear?
no, I'm good.
Ms. Faraday, you good? And Mr. O'Donnell, you good? All right, so looks like there are no more questions. We will entertain a motion at this time regarding V25-003.
I make a motion, to end public comment for application V25-003.
Second.
It's been properly moved in second, so we are out of public comment. Is there a motion up or down on this case?
I'll make a motion. I'll make a motion to approve this case V25-003 contingent upon approvals from Corps of Engineers. Perfect.
Second.
It's been properly moved in second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Hearing none, the motion passes, and V25-003 is approved pending approval from the Corps of Engineers.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Have a great evening. All right. Is that right? Yeah. All right. Next case is V25-005, 3724 Cascade Road. Staff, do you want to give us a summary on this case before we open up public comment?
Absolutely. Case V25-005, the address is 3724 Cascade Road. The applicant is requesting variances to Article 7, Section 706.04B to increase wall sign protrusions from protrusions of no more than 2 inches to 3 inches. To Article 7, Section 70702, Table 2, to increase the number of wall signs from 2 to 3. To increase the number of signs for drive-through and drive-in uses from 1 sign to 3 signs. To increase the maximum height of signs for drive-through and drive-in uses from no greater than 6 feet to 6 feet 10 inches for the menu board, and to increase the maximum height of signs from no greater than 6 feet to 10 feet 1 inch for the canopy speaker portion of the ordering system, and to increase the maximum height of signs for drive-throughs and drive-in uses from no greater than 6 feet to 12 feet for the clearance bar for the ordering system. Staff is recommending approval for variance 2 and denial for variances 1, 3, 4, 5, and 6.
All right, is there anyone here to advocate for V25-05? Step to the podium, please, sir. State your name and address if you're a South Fulton resident, and state your case. You'll have 10 minutes to present your case. The clock is on the wall. Go ahead.
Good evening. My name is Brent Moy with Land Engineering Development. We're the civil engineering firm hired by the Duncan tenant that is proposing to be in this proposed development. Hired also by the landowners, Jeff and Sherry Chambers, to be here to represent them in these variance requests. If you have this map in your package, I'm gonna break this into 2 kind of groups. The first group is these orange dots here, which have to do with the signage on the building. There's 2 variances associated with that we're requesting. One has to do with the distance that the sign protrudes out from the wall of the building. The way that the sign is made, and it comes from the sign company, that's 3 inches. I don't think the sign panel itself is 3 inches because it has a bracket behind it that it mounts to the wall on. So we're just asking for some relief there to work within the limits of what the sign company provides us to put signage on the building. The other variance is to have signage on all 3 sides of the building instead of 2 sides. This property, and I hope everyone's familiar with it, it's where the convenience store sits now. That's it. The Chambers have owned it for a long time. I think that building was built in 1967. They're excited about redeveloping it, something new and profitable, and a great add to the community. The 3 signs there's extreme hardship because for the three signs. We've worked really hard to come up with a layout that works on this property to put this development here. The property itself is right at half an acre, just over, and it is a very acute angle between Cascade Road and Fairburn Road. That creates issues when you're laying out a property. And my interpretation, as you know, from my development experience, is the sign code with the two signs is written for a building that sits more perpendicular to a road frontage, not at these acute angles. And so we're asking to be able to put signage on all three due to those acute angles that are on the property. The property, another hardship the property has had is the Fairburn Road improvement came through and took right away. It cut the property size by 16%. Now, those improvements are pretty much completed. I don't think the project's done, but the work in front of our lot is done. They've got a nice new sidewalk and pavers and everything out there. It looks really nice. But that is impacting the property. The other variances, the rest of those variances are associated with the menu board area. So the Duncan menu board system is has three pieces to it. It's not one menu board. You pull up, there is a menu board there that, you know, they're digital now, and it has a speaker on it, and you talk in, and that's the standard. It is 10 inches taller than the code allows. I don't know if they can modify that or not. I'll be honest with you, I'm not the sign manufacturer, but you know, when the sign vendor presented us with the package, that's what they came to us with. It's 10 inches taller than the 6-foot regulation. The other parts of the menu board are a canopy that goes over that. So when you pull up to the menu board and you've got your window down, there's a canopy sticking over your car or your truck or whatever you're in to prevent you from getting wet, hopefully. That is taller than the 6 feet. I believe the reason it has signage applied to it, or it's having the sign code applied to it, is because it has the little order here verbiage on it and the clearance verbiage on it. Otherwise, I wouldn't consider it a sign. It's just part of the menu system. And then to protect that item so that someone doesn't pull through with a really tall vehicle, there is a height bar. And it's before that, so that if you can't pass the height bar, you have to go around. You can't come through the menu. Can you put the height bar up there if you got it? And again, now that's the menu board that's 10 inches taller. That one's not this one. Oh. It is. There it is. You missed it. Oh. Keep scrolling. There it is. Okay. And again, this becomes a sign variance item because it has drive-through and the 8-foot height clearance text on it. That's my understanding, and when we presented it to the staff, there's words on this. It becomes a sign variance. So those are the, you know, and we keep focusing tonight on hardships and what are the hardships. I mean, for the landowner, the hardship is they have no control over any of this. They're just trying to lease this to the Duncan. The Duncan operator's hardship is they're trying to meet the Duncan standards and do things the way that they're supposed to per their franchise agreement. And, you know, we've worked really hard to get this site to work at this location to meet all of the other overlay requirements. And, you know, we've gotten a preliminary building approval for the elevations of the building, colors and materials and all those things. And we're just asking for some relief to these sign requirements and how they're interpreted and applied. So did I use up all my time? I'd like to reserve the rest of my time to answer questions.
Okay. All right, is there a motion to come out of public comment? Is there somebody here for opposition?
Yeah, man, you ain't heard nothing yet.
Yes, ma'am. Please step up and state your name. I didn't know that we had cards. They have cards over here. Can you, just? Yes, please. I'm sorry. That's why I wasn't aware that your presence was here. Just give us 1 second to get that card. And you'll have 10 minutes as well to present your case for opposing.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm gonna pull age on all you guys.
Please do.
I am 90 years old,
Oh, wow, that's a blessing. That's a blessing.
and these are extemporaneous remarks. You haven't
Yes, ma'am.
started my
Yes,
comments.
ma'am. Go ahead.
Okay. I used to live on the other side, on the east side of 285, in the city of Atlanta, and there I was chair of APAB and NPUR. And that's when I took up acquaintance with Commissioner Emma Darnell, who is my godmother. And the first time I heard about overlay was when I went to Hilton Head Island. Hilton Head Island has the most beautiful signage that you'd ever want to see. So I said, I hope Cascade can look like this. Because at that time, Cascade was one lane with no lights. It was farm, and they used to put vegetables and stuff out on the curb to sell. And horses and cows and goats and everything else on Fairburn Road. So I went to Peachtree City off of Joel Coward Parkway and took pictures for about 2 or 3 or 4 years, and brought it to Emma Darnell. And we developed what is now referred to as the overlay. Cascade Road is the first overlay in Fulton County. After Cascade is Johns Creek, and after Johns Creek, I think it's Sandtown. Fairburn Road and Cascade Road is the last. No, it's the second to the last old property that has not been developed. And Duncan, I love Duncan, but the 3 corners on Fairburn and Cascade all comply with the overlay. Walgreens, Chick-fil-A, beautiful store, Wells Fargo. Duncan wants to come in and take an old-ass building. That building is so old, it's about to fall in. And hang their signs all over that building. They don't want to do anything to the building to build a new Dunkin' Donuts store that would complement Cascade and 285. Everything else out there is new. That building been there probably since the 1920s or the 1930s. And I'm saying, if Walgreens, Chick-fil-A, and Wells Fargo, and Citizen Trust, and Publix, Kroger, Applebee, oh, and don't say nothing about the new furniture store. Y'all seen the new furniture store right at home?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, you talking about something. And this owner, builder, whoever it is, think they will come out and take an old raggedy ass building and hang a bunch of Dunkin' signs on it. And we're gonna approve it? Hell no. Excuse my French, y'all. but I am adamantly opposed to granting any variance in the Cascade Overlay District, any variance that's not a hardship. Now, if he want to tear the building down and build a new Dunkin' that complies, now I'll be down here shaking, just carrying on. But right now, he ain't gonna do nothing when it comes to draping a whole bunch of old signs, trying to make them fit, cause the sign companies say they can't do what needs to be done. So, I don't wanna go over my time. Have I?
You still got 4 minutes, but you can reserve
Well-
them.
You can
Yes,
just
ma'am.
raise it.
You can reserve them to come back up.
Well,
On the applicant.
you know, I'm gonna look.
Well, I think we might make
You know,
it.
I've been out there since '73. And like I say, Cascade Road was it was a two-lane road. It was a Fulton County road with no lights. Doug Crawford was the first developer that came out there and got approval for a grocery store. It was a family, it was a high-income grocery store where Kroger is now, and all of the family was in an airplane accident and they all died. Do you remember the? Bruno's. And since then, Kroger been doing all right. But we want to maintain the integrity of Cascade Road. We got, after this application, we got Harold Buckley. We got one last piece of property, Thompson, behind the Shell station. Thompson used to repair automobile motors there. We got that last little piece, and then we're through with y'all. So I love you. Please take everything that I said with a grain of salt, because I don't mean anything against anybody, but I'm a ex-code inspector. I was a code inspector for Fulton County. I was a code inspector for City of South Fulton. I'm a retired code inspector, and I'm code to the bone. So y'all have to say a prayer for me. Thank you.
Thank you.
you.
Thank you so much. All right, at this time, I'm sorry, sir, you had 3 minutes. Did you want to rebut?
Yeah, I think there's one thing I'd like to clarify.
Hang on, Mr. McClendon.
Then we have another speaker again.
Were you going to speak? No. Okay. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, thank you. I just wanted to clarify. I wanted to clarify that we are not using the convenience store that is there. That building will be demolished. There will be a brand-new Dunkin' building. Can you pull up the photos that show the signage on the outside of the building? So that's the exterior of the new Dunkin', and this is the sign in orange is what we're talking about for the variance. But we're gonna build a brand-new Dunkin' on that site. We're gonna raise that site to the gravel base on the pavement, repave everything, make it look brand spanking new, meet all the overlay requirements for the landscaping and everything else. We're just asking for some relief on these few little sign items that are causing the hardship for us. So just wanted to clarify that.
Thank you. Did you want to?
I have a couple of questions, please. Does City of South Fulton still require notification of surrounding properties? In other words, if somebody comes in with an application, does the City of South Fulton require the notification be sent out?
Yes, they do.
Okay. And the second question is, are you still required to meet? Is the applicant still required to meet with the neighbors?
Yes, as part of the variance process, they are required
Okay.
to hold a public meeting.
Okay.
This is that meeting,
No.
This
No.
is that meeting, yes, sorry. That's for the rezoning. I'm thinking of, but for variances, no.
Okay, because we used to get notices of everything, and we don't get notices any longer, so I wanted to ask that.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm glad there's gonna be new and Dunkin', but what I see them doing is if Walgreens has their signage in compliance, you go across the street and Chick-fil-A signage is in compliance. You come back, Wells Fargo is in compliance. You come back, Citizen Trust is in, everybody's in compliance. Dunkin' Donuts doesn't need all that signage.
Thank you. All right, so at this time, we'll close the floor for public comment. If there's a motion,
I make a motion to close public comment.
I second that.
it's been properly motioned and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, public comment is now closed, so we'll go into questions with our board here. Is there a question? Mr. Johnson?
All
I
right,
have
this
a question.
is for Mr. Moyer. All right, you know, one of the newer Dunkin' Donuts that we have built out here in South Fulton is the one right here on Campbellton Family Road.
Okay, I'm not familiar with it, but
Okay, that's,
this
so,
is-
so what I was gonna ask is, this sign vendor you guys got, have they done signs for other Dunkin' Donuts, as far as you know?
I don't know, they're a vendor, I don't know if they have or not. I'm not really the one contacting them, the Dunkin' operator hires them, they provide us with the sign
And only why I asked
paperwork,
that,
yeah.
only why I asked that, cause as I stated earlier, I do bill a lot of times when we doing stuff like that. We try to use the same one that
Sure.
already know what the rule, what.
Mhm.
I guess my next question was,
I don't think this is their first time doing a Dunkin'. They responded very quickly to me as we were making changes, because we made some changes as we went through figuring out how to do, when we met with staff in
Right.
our pre-app and they gave us comments and we were going through all that, they were doing these drawings and getting them back to us. So I think they're fairly knowledgeable as a Dunkin' sign vendor.
so back to that one that we got here on Campbellton Family Road, right next to Publix. It's been over 2 years, 3 years now, maybe. It looked pretty new to me, and I do see that front and that side, and good point you made for is, you talked about putting a sign coming up north on Family Road, which would be in between the wing store,
The
restaurant.
three signs we're talking about are on the building, just on the face of the building, like you see up here on this picture. Just, there would be one on the face, kind of, that, it's skewed. This is,
Right,
yeah, so there'd be one on the three faces. That's what we're talking about, the three signs. The sign that we're putting out here, this is the monument sign. That was part of a administrative variance that we have. We met on it earlier, but we don't have a ruling on it. So the sign on the street is gonna be out here.
right, after we're doing all the new sidewalk and all that stuff.
Yeah. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, you did answer them.
Okay.
Ms. Faraday?
I have,
I'm sorry, Dr. Blackshear had already got my attention.
and you kind of answered one of my questions, because I was gonna ask about the vendor, as far as, but you probably don't know, as far as how old is this vendor who makes the signs? But you wouldn't know that, because I'm asking that if it's a vendor that's been in business, say, 20 years, they should have all types of options available for a property in this type of setup. But since you don't know that, that voids that question for me. However, with the signage, that particular location at that corner, that's a very active corner. A lot of activity, so I don't see why, all of that signage necessarily is needed. Unless it's just, that's just one of the requirements of Dunkin' Donuts.
Can I respond to you?
Yes,
please.
Okay.
please.
Again, I'm a civil engineer, but I've been doing this for 25 years,
Okay.
doing Dunkin's for almost that entire time in a lot of quick serve restaurants. I'm gonna give you my opinion on why they want the signage here. If you have signage here and here, somebody coming westbound on Cascade Road is not gonna see that signage. If you have signage here and here, somebody coming on Fairburn Road is not gonna see those two signs. So because of the acute angle of Fairburn Road and Cascade Road, the building sits at an angle. It's not
Correct.
perpendicular to any of them.
Oh,
And
very
so
familiar.
the reasoning behind it is to give, potential patrons going west on Cascade, or I guess it's south, north on Fairburn Road. If you only have two, you gotta pick which side you don't want anybody to be able to see the sign. That's what it comes down to.
Okay, so the tall sign, the billboard sign, not a billboard per se, but would you all have?
Yeah, can you pull the canopy one? I think that's the tallest one we have. That's the drive-through, so that is the canopy. So sitting here in this corner is going to be, there's this purple one here, is gonna be the height bar.
Right.
That keeps you from driving into anything.
Okay,
The blue one is the speaker with the canopy on it. So that's where you stop and you talk to the people in the restaurant and place your order.
okay,
And then the green one is the menu board that'll be sitting a little distance away, but you can see it, it's digital. So that's what you're looking at. So the tallest one we're asking for, I believe, is that, the canopy.
Okay.
And the signage that is on it, I don't know if it would come before you if it didn't have the lettering on it or not as a sign, but it may, I'm not sure. We didn't have that discussion, but my understanding is because it has signage on it, it has, if we want it, we have to get a variance to comply with the code.
and have you had other members of the community in that area reach out to you all?
We have not, but we did mail all of the mailings that were required by the city. Those were sent out, and we have documented that, and I personally posted the signs out there. And I checked my photos, they say June 26th.
Okay,
So,
thank you.
Mr. O'Donnell?
I got a question for staff. If,
Go ahead.
if they're to remove the order here from that canopy, would that meet code?
You're saying on the first, canopy right there, if the
Correct.
order here was at, would that still be considered a sign?
Correct, if they just remove that, then would that canopy meet current zoning code?
So we don't have any regulations regarding canopies, so we consider that a sign. So if it didn't have any words on it, we wouldn't even probably look at it.
Okay. And any type of sign for a height restriction, safety, would that count?
Count as a sign?
Yeah.
Yes.
So in other words, if they put a, max height 10 feet, so that I don't drive through with my truck.
Correct. Yes.
Okay. And for staff, you recommended approval for the third sign. I was trying to find out what was the reasoning for that, other than the building is surrounded on roads by three sides?
So I think Mr. Moy, I think he explained that earlier because of the
Right.
triangular shape of the lot.
Right.
That's one of our hardship criteria, is that the lot is irregularly shaped, so therefore, we do see a hardship there, for it to go from 2 to 3 signs.
Okay, so that is considered a hardship from staff's perspective?
Correct.
Okay. 'Cause I know we denied it in the past, so that's why I was wondering.
I still have another question.
Miss
Um,
Ms. Faraday.
Go ahead.
So, a picture was shown earlier of, previous, a Dunkin' Donut that was,
I think he
I'm
pulled
sorry,
it up
a
on.
picture was, shown earlier of a Dunkin' Donut that was built, and it had all the proper signage to it and everything. What am I missing? What's not consistent?
I don't know.
with
I mean, I personally wasn't part of that project, and I don't know if they had variances or complied or what they did. I'm curious too.
Is that, yeah, that's South Fulton. This is it.
Okay. So, okay, so you're curious too about how did they build that? My other concern is that the residents wasn't informed, well, you said they were informed, that
We-
a whole new building was going to be, built. So they're under the impression that, you're putting, I can't say what she said, new signage on an old building.
That's not the case. So let me tell you where we
So
are
has
in the project.
Building, has it started being built yet,
No.
or not yet?
I'll get you up to speed where we are in the
Okay.
process. So we did follow all the process. We posted it on the site for the variance. We submitted our package. We have to send out mailings and get receipts that we mailed them. So I don't know why you didn't receive one, but there's a certain distance that we have to send it to, and it's not everybody in the district, it's just within a certain distance of that, and we complied with that. The civil engineering portion of the design, the plans have been submitted to the city, Fulton County Sewer and City of Atlanta Water. We are waiting to resubmit those. We're working on an easement for the sewer with the adjacent property owner, so we haven't resubmitted those. The city staff worked with us with their building permitting process. We're very thankful for that. Our landlord doesn't want to give notice to the existing tenant until we have all our permits in place. But that caused a little bit of chicken and egg circumstance with our building permits, but the city staff has reviewed our building permit, and we have a preliminary approval of the building permit. But we're not ready to start construction. We would, if we get this approved, we still have to get a few approvals from, on the engineering plans. They've been through one review. We've addressed comments. We're waiting on that easement before we resubmit.
Would you be, and I'm not sure if I'm asking the question, but would you be opposed to, working with, other signage companies?
I can present that to the Duncan franchisee, but that's beyond my control.
Cause like she said, it's a billion Dunkin' Donuts, and the signage hasn't been like a major problem. So, and they should have 1,000 options.
And
So,
they may, that would be something the franchisee would have to answer. And so, I still don't know, did they fully comply with everything in the code or not? I'm not aware if they did or didn't.
Mr. Rowan?
Hi.
Hello?
I heard you mention that the Dunkin' owner is trying to meet franchise requirements, is that right?
So the landowner who owns the property, who I'm filed the variance on behalf of, because they own the property. They are leasing the property to Duncan to build this building. And so there's, the landowners working with the franchisee and me, and I'm working for the franchisee to do the construction documents. And so the franchisee has requirements they have to meet for Duncan. Does that make sense?
The requirements, including the signage that you're asking for a variance for, that's what the Dunkin' franchise would like to see?
That's what Duncan Corporate requires the franchise to do. And there are options. I don't want to misrepresent it. There are options. But I really think that because we have wording on these items associated with the menu board, that's triggering us to be here dealing with that in a signage capacity, not just another. Does that make sense? I'm not sure how to
There are
term it.
options that
I don't
the
know.
franchisee could fall within, that also fall within our code?
I do not know that answer. I would need the sign guy here to answer that question.
Okay. You also mentioned that you've done a ton of Dunkins, right? You're a civil engineer.
done, yes. Mhm.
Okay. In your experience, have you seen issues with signage being in compliance with code and affecting the business?
I feel like this is a special circumstance because some of the items associated with the menu board are being treated as signs, and we would, in our normal process in other jurisdictions, they wouldn't be treated as signs. We ought to address your code, and that's what you're asking. But I haven't run into a signage issue that, the way you termed it was impacted the business. To be honest, I'm not usually the one handling all the signage. I'm handling this because it's a variance, and I've had a lot of experience doing variances. But
So in
I
other
don't-
words, if
I
the
mean,
signage was within code, the franchisee would not be in violation of their requirements to run the franchise?
I do not know that answer. Specifically to the depth of the, 2 inches from the face of the building to 3 inches, I don't know that they can comply with that or not. Yeah.
And you mentioned that the signage company offered something that is bigger, right, than what the code allows. Are you able to get custom signs that do meet the code?
So, I don't know if we're gonna have to go back and figure that out. If you tell us that we can't have the 3 inches, we have to have the 2 inches. What the sign company gave us is what was in the package. And it was fairly detailed, way more detailed than I was expecting to get from them.
Were the parameters of the code presented to the signage company to see if they
I think
could
it
make
may.
a sign
I mean,
that
I
falls within
can't speak
code?
empirically about it, but I think it may, just because of the, typically in these circumstances, they don't over-design things. They design them to what they need, because over-designing it would be just cost extra. So when they design it to be 3 inches, I'm thinking that's the minimum they can get.
Okay, and then question for staff. Variance 2 was approved, and then variance 1, 3, 4, 5, and 6, were they denied because they did not meet hardship criteria?
Correct.
Thank you, that's all I have.
Dr. Blackshear?
I have a quick question.
Yes, ma'am.
Are there any Dunkin' Donut franchise reps in the area
You talking
that
about
could
somebody?
speak on some of the things that we're speaking about?
Absolutely, yes.
And the
Construction
reason,
folks, yeah.
and I'm asking because with Dunkin' Donuts being such a historical company,
Mm-hmm.
this can't be the first time that they've come across a situation like this where they may have had to make adjustments to fit within the proper parameters in order to build. I mean.
I don't have a definitive answer
I
on
know
this.
you don't.
I
That
don't, but-
was why I
Yeah,
asked.
and you want a definitive answer. There are Duncan construction folks. The Duncan's owned by a company called Inspire now.
Uh-huh.
And they have construction management people, and, you
Okay.
know, if I'd have thought I needed one of them here, I would have had one of them here, and they would have been here gladly.
Right.
I wanna break this into the two items, the wall signage
Uh-huh.
and the, you know, I feel strongly we have the hardship to ask for 3 signs.
Right.
The depth of the sign, can it be 2 inches protrusion? I don't think that's gonna kill the deal. When we get into the menu board stuff, they have menu board options,
Right.
but none of them are gonna comply with
Comply.
the 6 feet height. Because of, you know, we could do a different type of canopy, we could do an all-in-one menu board sign canopy, all-in-one, one piece, but it's still gonna have a height bar that's gonna be taller than 6 feet, and it's still gonna have, you know, the canopy on it, which is gonna be taller than 6 feet, so I
Right.
don't think we can get those down
Okay.
to the 6 feet.
Okay, and my last question. You said the building would be completely demolished?
Yes,
Okay, because I grew up in this area, born and raised, and that is a very old building.
Yes.
And it would be nice to see something pretty there
yes.
that fit within the compound of all of the other restaurants and stores. Okay, that's all I have.
Mr. O'Donnell?
One last question.
Yes, sir.
The 3-inch depth of the signs, are those backlit?
I think they're internally lit.
So,
Okay.
okay. So that's probably, what I'm wondering is what's causing the depth of the sign.
Right, it's got some bulb or something in there that's causing that.
Thank you.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes, one last quick question. Basically, what you're asking for is it consistent with other Dunkins?
That's what y'all are asking, or
I'm asking you.
is it
that
consistent?
What you're doing, this is not a one-off deal.
It's not a
Is it-
one-off deal. These
yeah,
are standard
they're
Duncan
standard.
pieces that are being brought in.
They're inconsistent with other Dunkins, pretty much. If I drove the one in Roswell, if I drove the one in
Yeah, I'm doing,
Pickett City.
yes, we're doing a Duncan in Palmetto right now. It's gonna have the same menu board canopy height
It's
bar.
consistent, yeah.
It's
This is not
consistent.
no
We're doing
special
one in
deal,
Lawrenceville.
Other
It's
than
gonna-
it sit oblong next to, in that corner that you need the extra sign. For
Right.
people coming on up Favre Road or whatever, whichever way
Mhm.
they're driving to see it.
Yeah.
Okay. No further questions.
All right, Mr. O'Donnell wants to make a motion.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve section 1 and section 2 for case number V25-005 at 3724 Cascade Road, and deny portions 3, 4, 5, and 6.
All right, there's a motion on the floor. Anyone keeping up with that motion? Is there a second?
Repeat the motion.
Repeat the motion.
I'd like to. Sorry. Motion is to approve variance request number 1 and 2 of case number V25-005 at 3724 Cascade Road, and deny portions 3, 4, 5, and 6. For clarity, my logic behind this is if you remove the order here sign, that becomes non-relevant. You do not need to, it wouldn't even meet the criteria for us to be here. And then also, we've set precedent in the past in terms of, with other fast food cases, of not allowing 3 signs. And I'll leave it at that.
All right, there's a motion on the floor.
Second.
It's been properly moved in second. All in favor say aye.
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 All opposed, nay.
Nay.
All right, I think this is gonna require a hand count again. All in favor, aye, raise your hand. 1, 2, all opposed, nay, raise your hand. Dr. Blackshear.
I'm, I'm still processing. My apologies for that. Is there,
Well,
No.
hang on. That motion, is dead, it's a tie vote, and so, Dr. Blackshear, go ahead.
well, yeah, you can break the tie.
I'm abstaining,
All right,
like
I
you're
appreciate
abstaining.
it.
So-
I appreciate you, thank you.
given we both have abstained, it's a deadlock and motion dies.
So once y'all get finished, I'd like to make a motion.
I really would like to, I'm still kind of on the fence. I would like to make a motion to defer this for 30 days. On the premise that I would like a rep to be here.
There's a motion on the floor to defer.
Second.
It's been properly moved in second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay.
Nay.
Okay, just based on sounds like the ayes have it. The motion is deferred until our next meeting.
Can I ask a question of staff? What do we do about advertising and reposting and all of that stuff? Or do we have to do any of that?
You don't have to do any of that. We can, change out the sign, but you don't have to do any more mailings or anything. It's just a, updated sign.
Can we just do that with tape again like we did before?
Yes.
All right, thank you so much for coming out
Thank you,
tonight.
guys.
We'll see you
And
next time.
thank y'all. Y'all took a lot of time and effort and really considered this, so I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Yeah, personal note, like Dr. Blackshear here, born and raised, so I hope that, you know, you guys are happy with the outcome, but
I have a connection here too. So I'm 56, and so from 1970 to 1990, my grandparents live on Cascade Road. They went to Cascade Heights Baptist Church,
Yeah.
right across. What's the new church down here on Cascade Road? They live in a brick house right across there. So I grew up coming
well, what I
to
was,
Cascade Road to see my grandparents.
what I was gonna say, the reason why I, made my comments is because I have a feeling that if there were no sign there, everybody's gonna know real quick Dunkin' Donuts is there.
Yeah, that was my reasoning for making a statement about that corner being so active.
Yeah, yeah.
Was there any way for Duncan to adjust, because that's a very active corner?
Well, we deferred it now, so I just wanted to say that.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you.
If there are 3 signs or 2 signs, everybody's gonna know real fast there's a Dunkin' Donuts right there.
Right.
Thank you for putting up with me.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
But we also have a McDonald's that complies, and we have a Starbucks that complies.
Yes, ma'am.
So I don't know what all this mess is about, a little old donut shop.
We look forward to seeing you out here again.
Yes, we do.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, please send us a notice
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
so we'll know what the application is. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. All right. We're gonna move ahead to V25-006, 1940 Waycross Drive. The staff wanna give us a synopsis on that.
Absolutely. V25-006, the address is 101940 Raycrest Drive. The applicant seeks a variance to Article 6, Section 602.02 to decrease parking from 87 spaces to 78 spaces. Staff is recommending a denial.
All right, is there someone here to advocate for V25-006? If so, please come up to the podium, state your name and address if you're a South Fulton resident, and make your case. You'll have 10 minutes to make your case. Is there anyone here opposed? All right, seeing none. Is there a motion to open?
I'm making a
Well,
motion.
Well, let him make his presentation first. I apologize. Go ahead, sir.
Thank you. Good evening. Thank you for having me. My name is Tuan Duong. I am a civil engineer at Atlas Technical Consultants. I'm not a resident of the city of South Fulton. Our office is in Cobb County. I am representing the developer on this case for this affordable housing multifamily style development. This is the third phase of what they're calling the Anthem complex. So the hardship here being that going through the tabulation in the on the site plan and on my appeal letter, we ended up with only 131 square feet of buildable area remaining after considering all of the easements. We have 3 easements that are existing that's taking up 20% of the lot. The proposed features, that is the building, the parking bay, trees, the landscape buffers, and the tree and shrub coverage requirement is taking up the remaining of the lot. So the ask really is to reduce the requirement from 1.25 space per 1 bedroom unit to 1 space per bedroom unit. Thank you.
All right, is that your presentation? All right, we'll take a motion to close public comment.
I make a motion to close public comment for application V 25-006.
I'll second it.
It's been properly moved and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Hearing none, the motion passes. We are closed for public comment. And at this time, we'll take questions from the board if there are any. Mr. Johnson?
Yes, sir. Mr. Tuan Long, is this owned by Fulton County, this property?
This property?
Yeah.
It is. The land is.
Okay. But you guys are developing it for who? Not Fulton County, for a private?
For the developer is called Prestwick, and they develop affordable housing type units.
On behalf of Fulton County, I guess?
Correct.
Because I noticed they are the owner of the property.
Yes.
Okay. And you basically asking for not giving them the same amount, I guess I can be heard. You asking for one space per unit, correct?
Correct. 1 space per 1 bedroom.
1 space per 1 bedroom. Right. Thank you.
Dr. Blackshear?
I do have a question. You say affordable housing.
Yes, ma'am.
What's the price point?
I believe it's. I do not know off the top of my head. Developer question.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to get clarity on, everybody has a different understanding of affordable housing and market, fair market value. So that's what I was looking for as far as, because again, we still want to, I understand what is taking place, but we still want to have a certain price point out here. Not trying to keep people out, but we just want to keep the area consistent and not drop people's property value and things of that nature. When this development was considered, they were unaware of this parking issue in the beginning when this was planned out.
So when this was planned out, they were concerned about the parking, and they had an inkling that they will need a variance for it. However, it was a balancing act until we can establish how much units to fit in the space versus how many parking that can be fit in conjunction with that. It was a balancing act between number of units, or it was a balancing act if we dedicate this space to units, or do we take away units and provide spaces and essentially a drive to get to those spaces.
Okay. And they couldn't reduce the number of units?
They cannot reduce the number of units.
But they knew this in advance.
They knew in advance.
Okay. Thank you.
Ms. Jerome.
Hi. Could you please explain why the number of units cannot be reduced?
So it's because the shape of the lot and how that balances with the rest of the easements and the pond and the buffers that were required set the stage for the horizontal configuration of the building footprint. And then from there, it was either provide less units and increase the driveway to get the parking, or get the variance for the parking and go with 60 units.
And so if the variance isn't granted, what is going to happen with the units that you are looking to build?
I will have to ask the developer. Likely we'll have to go to back to the drawing board and see if we can reduce.
Were you finished?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Didn't want to cut you off. Are there any alternate places near the property that residents can park at? On the street, anywhere, walking distance? Are there any alternatives?
Potentially, we could ask to share spaces with a neighboring development. As far as the street, I understand that there were some comments involved during permitting of the land disturbance that the street will need to be kept open and clear for fire access.
Thank you. That's all I have.
Ms. Faraday.
So, like Jerron had asked, because I'm concerned about safety, if there's not enough parking space and how far they have to walk to that particular unit, would they be safe? Is there enough lighting around? Would it be safe for them to do so? So that's one of my concerns about the parking. Also, is there enough parking for the residents, enough unit residents, enough parking space for everyone to park and for their guests?
As designed?
Yes,
Or
designed.
So, as designed, we believe there is, just purely based on the neighboring development and how they are using their space and their unit allocation there.
Okay. So it's enough parking. Is that what you're saying?
We believe so. Yes, we heavily believe so.
Okay. And if it's not, what's the alternative? That's what she was asking. What's the alternative if there's not enough parking?
To likely ask the neighboring development to share
far is
spaces. Walking distance wise, I would say 100 feet.
I'm done with questions.
Mr. Johnson.
Yeah, so I'm looking at it here. Fulton County own that too. So
Yes, sir.
I can see where they own that 3.36 acres. Is it possible that you guys, because I'm kind of with them a little bit. I mean, we respect what you guys are doing for the affordable housing, but one vehicle, one parking spot per house may kind of put somebody in a bind if it may kind of put them in a little bit of a bind where you got people illegally parking on grass or people gonna park. It's kind of hard to park one car. Now, Fulton County own that right next door. Have y'all even considered having a conversation with them just to carve out, because we're only talking 9 spaces here.
Right.
Have you even considered that? I mean, outside of the 9 spaces, I think someone probably should at least try to have a conversation with them anyway, just for good faith.
Yeah. Yes. To answer your first question, we have talked to them. We had to go to them to get signature for the application, and they considered that, well, let's put that on the back end, and we'll come back to it. But go ahead and shoot for this variance.
Right.
Yeah.
So I can tell you right now, that probably need to be a front end deal for me and my vote, because I think, I think that's what we do a lot. People come in and bill, and they'll bill with that. You drive up and down these neighborhoods a lot now, and you see 4 cars or 3 cars in one place. Even though it's a 1-bedroom apartment, if it's a couple and both of them got their own vehicles, they kind of up the creek. All right, I have no further questions.
There are no more questions? All right, well, my own little comment is to be frank, I was a bit put off when I saw that this was on behalf of Housing Authority of Fulton County as a product of public housing. I grew up in a small little quiet neighborhood called Bowen Homes, so when I see Housing Authority of Fulton County, stuff like this. At any rate, I'll entertain a motion.
Are we done with public comment? Yeah. Okay. I make a motion to deny this application, V 25-006.
I'll second.
It's been properly moved and second. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. Motion is carried, and this is denied.
Thank you.
All right, is there anything else from staff?
None, nope, we good. Oh,
Okay, so then we will
I think we-
entertain a motion to adjourn, unless Mr. McClendon has something for us.
Okay.
I know we're ready to go. I am too. I'm Reggie McClendon, Managing Director of the Business Friendly Community Development and Regulatory Affairs Department. I do want to, as always, acknowledge that this board, in my opinion, is the best board that we have in this city. I've probably, if y'all have been serving on this board, you have heard me say that a lot of times, and I will continue to say it. Thank you for your professionalism, and if there's anything you need from us, please let us know.
And thank you for the water.
All right. Is there a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion to adjourn.
second.
It's been properly moved and second. All in favor of adjourning say aye.
Aye.
Hearing no nays, we are adjourned.